Okay, so here's what we actually did. We created a crazy story. Now, first thing I said to everyone was just give us a genre. So we chose the genre of sci-fi. And a couple of the people there are quite interested in sci-fi, so that was good. Then someone else gave us the suggestion of the title, Life After World War III. The first thing I did was drew out this timeline and then put in the act points. So plot point 2, the end of act 2 part 2, the halfway point, plot point 1. Then marked in the end, and of course at the start. So the first question was, what's the most important thing that happens in your story? i.e., what's the biggest thing? What's the most dramatic thing? And then we had this idea of conspiracy. The hero breaks out of virtual world. And then this idea that there was no World War III. So we had all this stuff going on here. Then we looked at who the hero was. And we said it was Alice, and that she was she had a good job, but she was bored. She was married with kids, but not so satisfied. Now, I'm not going to go through exactly how we put it in. I just want to give you the results of it, really, as a recap for those that were there. So, you can see we've marked in the 10-minute endings. That's 30 minutes. The halfway point between Act 2, Part 1, Act 2, Part 2. I call them bridges. Bridge 1, Bridge 2. Sid Field calls them pinches. And we also, another thing we realised as we went on is that this is actually a voyage and return story to a degree. It's also got elements of rebellion against the one. It ended up being this story title, World War II genre, Life After World War III, genre sci-fi action fantasy war, where Earth 2040, who Alice, frustrated lawyer, mum and wife, what she wants to find her family, well, to rescue her families, but that's a better verb, save, obstacles, the war, the enemy is the boss, she's been tricked. Her inner struggle is perhaps low confidence. The end, she succeeds, and what does she learn? She does not need approval to act. And we connected that to perhaps a dark father, a cruel father, which then the boss who she defeats, who's the main baddie, also represents that cruel father. So we can express it like this. Life After World War III is a sci-fi action fantasy set on planet Earth in 2040 about Alice, a frustrated lawyer and mom, who wants to find her family, to rescue her family, but she's not sure whether they're still alive. The boss is against her. There's a war going on, and she has a sort of low confidence, lack of belief in herself. Finally, she succeeds, and she learns that she doesn't need anyone's approval, authority's approval, no man's approval to get what she wants. Just going through here, the pre-start is that the war has begun. At the start, she's bored at her job. 10 minutes, her family have gone. Next 10 minutes, the invasion starts. She begins her quest. She starts to look. The big fight and victory. Halfway point is she kills the rebel leader. She kills someone good as a way of infiltrating the bad guys. So she makes this terrible thing which makes her into an outcast, and people think she's the bad person. She does a terrible act here, like she stops a family from escaping. But at the plot point 2, the moment of truth, where all is revealed, she discovers that it was all a kind of test, a work test that proves she could make tough decisions. She meets her boss and she meets her family again, and it's all a bit strange. Here then, she would not accept the promotion, she would not accept the results of this test. The climax, she kills the boss. At the end, she's reunited with her family, but perhaps in some weird dream sequence she presses a button to start the war again, or begin this process for someone else. Anyway, I could talk to you in a lot more detail about this because we came out with lots of stuff. It took us about an hour 45 to get it all down. We've given ourselves a really good starting point. One of the things that came up was the need to Focus on the physical actions and not the feelings. I was sort of getting people to forget about about your internal feelings, about all that. We can talk about them as regards knowing why she might do something or where she's coming from, but the plot points we're marking down are all sort of physical, have to be expressed physically, and they're big changes. So if you like her boring life, she begins her adventure, she's the bad person, she defeats the enemy.